Welcome to this week's episode of Luv Subbin, and this is week 2 of our quarantine due to the COVID-19 virus. And we're making good use of it. We're at our house, we're taking meteorology courses.
Yep.
I'm taking a photography course, but I think for the content that we're going to do right now,
we're just going to look for ways to get exercise.
Right, because our governor, even though it's a stay-at-home order, our governor has properly said getting outside, walking around, exercising is an important part of this stay-at-home thing. Because if you stay at home for a couple of weeks,
you're gonna go crazy.
You're gonna, exactly. So we're gonna be out and about, walking around our town, which I've often said it's so important to walk around and be a tourist in your own town. So we're gonna look at a few of the things. I'm also trying some different stuff with the camera.
Right. So some fun stuff.
So that once we do get our content, our normal Luv Subbin content going, hopefully our videos will kick up a notch. So yeah, we'll be able to utilize our space, do a little bit better with our videos, and utilize this time properly. So come and join us as we tour old Bennington, Vermont, and a couple of our famous sites out here.
Yep. In contrast to the first church here, we have the Luvsubbin Inn, which was built in 1771, and its condition is not as nice, and it's because in the will, it was built in 1771, but it's been added on to in the will that says that nothing can be done to it. So that's why it is remaining in its condition.
So we've arrived at the first of the famous gravestones here at the old First Church, and that is Charles Crescent Jones. And if you're new to this channel, go back and look at one of our older videos in which we kind of did a little bit of research on Charles. He died aboard the wreck of the SS Titanic. It says SS Titanic, technically the RMS Titanic. But he was one of the few first-class passengers returned and recovered by the Mackay Bennett, the recovery ship. And he's buried right here in Bennington. And so definitely check out that video above. It was one of our earlier videos, so if you're new to this channel, it might be interesting. We actually found the house where he lived, did some research, and it was a lot of fun. So hitting these old graveyards is always kind of fun.
Yep.
We just saw a grave of a Bennington resident killed in the Mexican-American War in 1847.
There are a lot of old graves here also from the 18th century. You can tell by some of the styling marks on them. So those are very interesting as well.
Yep, and we're gonna go ahead and see right now the most famous person buried here at the old First Church here in Bennington. It's somebody I know you'll recognize.
Exactly. So I'm standing in front of the grave of Robert Frost, and on his gravestone it said, famously, I had a lover's quarrel with the world. And that's from one of his poems, I assume.
Yep.
Though Robert Frost had a very famous quote, I liked the quote for his wife even better. Together, wing to wing and oar to oar.
And famously, of course, he wrote one of the most famous lines, I think, in poetry ever.
I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
And that was from his poem, The Road Less Traveled. So we are here at the site of the Catamount Tavern, and this actually burned down a number of years, like 1781 or something like that. It burned down. But this is where Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys planned the attack on Fort Ticonderoga. Now, contrary to popular belief, Ethan Allen was not a furniture salesman, but he was the leader of the Green Mountain Boys, and together along with Benedict Arnold, they captured Fort Ticonderoga in May of 1775. And by capturing Fort Ticonderoga, they were able to take 60 tons of cannon and bring them down 300 miles to Boston and be able to supply the Patriots in Boston with needed cannons on Dorchester Heights, etc. So all of that planning, which started the revolution, started right here.
All right, this is a final feature in front of this house dated 1821. It's a old place to tie your horse. And your horse would be tied here, and this would be your mounting block. So you would step up here, your horse would be tied there, and you could mount your horse.
Have we found any other famous mounting blocks in our travels?
Yes.
Where was that?
That was the Duke of Wellington's mounting block outside the Grenadier when we were in London.
But this pub used to be the Duke of Wellington's officers' mess, and as you can tell here, one of the historic parts of the pub is back here. You can see the sign, and this used to be the Duke of Wellington's mounting block where he would stand before mounting his horse. So definitely a historic pub. This is one of our favorite houses. This house is just absolutely beautiful.
1821.
So many of these houses here are just absolutely gorgeous. You can see the monument there in the distance. All right, we have arrived at the last place on our tour for today, and that is the Bennington Battle Monument. You can see it goes way
Up there.
kind of looks like the Washington Monument, but
On a smaller scale.
yeah, it's 305 feet tall and is actually the tallest man-made structure in the state of Vermont, and it commemorates the Battle of Bennington, which actually happened about 10 miles from here in New York State. But that's not something we publicize here in Vermont. But it was a storehouse of military munitions and other military gear that was on this site. And General Burgoyne was coming down through from Canada to cut off basically the colonies. And
They were trying to take the supply.
right, and they needed these supplies to be successful in their military campaign. So Ethan Allen, Colonel Seth Warner defeated them at the Battle of Bennington. And I think there's Colonel John Stark has a great phrase. There they are, boys. We beat them today, or Molly Stark sleeps a widow tonight. And I'm still trying to think if I heard my commanding officer yell that, whether it would inspire me or scare me half to death. But anyway, by defeating Burgoyne and denying him the stores that were here at Bennington, he was able to ensure victory. General Benedict Arnold and others at the Battle of Saratoga, which took place up north of here. And the rest is kind of history, as they say. And because of this, we got an aircraft carrier named after us, the USS Bennington CV-20 from World War II. So how cool is that?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and check things out here. So we hope you enjoyed that video and our little look at the town of Bennington, Vermont.
Yes. Or at least old North Bennington.
Yeah, same thing. And as we continue our downtime here. So if you like this video,
Give us a big thumbs up.
if you haven't already subscribed, definitely click the subscribe.
And leave a comment below if you are a tourist in your own town and if you have neat things that you like to explore.
Yep, and we come out with RV and Airstream related videos typically every Tuesday, but for the next couple of weeks they might be a little bit different, like this one.
Yes.
Every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.